Do you like video games? What about podcasts? Then check out WeTheNerdy.com. Life of Gaming is proud to be represented on this website, along with other great podcasts, such as If We Ran Nintendo and We the Gamercast. Check it out for articles and reviews on movies, video games, and other great content. WeTheNerdy.com. By the nerdy, for the nerdy. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the show. This is episode number 60 of the Life Gaming Podcast, and it is a very, very special episode. Not only do I have a handheld mic look like a game show host, which is wonderful, we are also talking about a very big event that just happened, the Nintendo Switch. But before we hop into that, let me introduce my co-host, the man with the beard and the VR headset, Mr. Josh Brandt.
James was 2 minutes away from missing a pre-order, but he got one.
I still got one.
He got one.
I was being mocked. Like when I woke up in the morning and I was reading my chat, I was getting mocked. Oh my gosh.
But you had to buy from GameStop.
I had to buy from GameStop. We'll get into that here in a second.
Yeah.
But the other man on the show, the man who's in love with the Switch, so in love with the Switch, he has many Switches at his disposal, Mr. Chris White.
I'm happy, James. I'm happy.
This
is a very, very rare state of being for myself. I'm glad to be here tonight.
He
glad
actually has a smile on his face. If you're watching, the video version, your computer is not messed up.
This is a day of reckoning.
Listen, it's not all sunshine and roses, but there's a lot more good than there is bad, and so I'm happy about that.
Awesome possum indeed, sir. But okay, quick, like Brant was mentioning, we did get some pre-orders. I had to pre-order mine from GameStop, and last night, we stayed up late. We watched it. I got off about, I think it was like 12:20 when I got off, and apparently certain sites went up at like 12:30, so I missed it by like 5 or 10 minutes maybe.
Yeah, it was like 2 minutes after he fell asleep.
But but I was able to hop on and get on GameStop because what I found out, I think it was like Amazon launch or Walmart launch first, and then Amazon, then Target.
No, Best Buy.
It worked its way down the list. GameStop didn't open their pre-orders till like 5 in the morning, my time,
Nice.
which is awesome because I was going to put 6 anyway. So I just hopped on the computer. I was actually surprised how easy it was for me to go on GameStop. I mean, no one else was taking pre-orders. Went to GameStop, hopped on, and got it. But the problem with GameStop, everybody else, free shipping. I'm being charged $25 for shipping from GameStop.
Oh, that's hard.
And that is stupid.
Oh.
But I've got my
harsh.
system guaranteed, so I'm happy about that. Chris, what about you, man? How was your pre-order journey?
The pre-order journey was fantastic. This is look. We came into this knowing that the NES Classic was a complete train wreck. I said, I believe on last week's show that Nintendo wouldn't have that problem with a new console, and I was right. Some dumb people on our show said there was only going to be 2 million units.
At the financial briefing, or when was that? November? What the financial briefing?
Dude, your microphone is cutting out, and it couldn't cut out at a better time because all you said was just complete garbage.
Hilarious, sir.
So that's right. So Nintendo had a financial call 3 months ago where they were estimating shipping 2 million units in March. I just don't believe that number could be real. So anyway, my pre-order journey was simple. I had Amazon, Target, Walmart, GameStop, and Best Buy all up on my browser as refreshing as I could. Twitter was actually the best place. Several just people that I follow or sites that I follow, were tweeting out as soon as they were going live. So I got on Walmart first, and I reserved 2 Switches just immediately. So I have both of those reserved. I like to buy stuff from Amazon, but at about 12:30, Amazon still wasn't doing pre-orders yet. The thing about Walmart, though, and we talked about this when the Switch was first announced. I hated the look of the system because I thought it was dull and bland and boring. And I said they need to add. It's Nintendo. They need to add some color. And
Just
what
red.
did they do? I'm telling you.
Red and blue.
They listen to me. They watch our show.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
like, this guy Chris knows what's going on. So they gave us color controllers, which I thought was amazing. So I wanted to get the color bundle, but Walmart didn't have it. But because it's just, I wanted to have one day one, I went ahead and just pre-ordered the 2 of them. Shortly after that, probably close to about 12:45, 12:50ish, Best Buy went on pre-order, and they had both the black and white and the black and gray, and what they're calling the neon bundle, which was the red and blue,
Which is absolutely hideous.
Which is amazing. Which is the only thing that I want.
In my opinion, it just looks ridiculous. Like if they just had just red on both sides or blue on both sides, sure. But having red one side, blue the other, no, not.
I absolutely.
It looks like a child's toy.
Give you some color.
Exactly. It's Nintendo. It's a video game, portable video game system. It is for a child. Okay,
we're children at heart.
That's what people make fun of the Wii U because the tablet looked like a kid's toy. It wasn't mature enough.
Oh, that tablet was
solid
terrible.
Black. It was solid black.
Mine's white.
No color on that. Your point is mute. So look. So I jumped on to Best Buy. I pre-ordered the neon bundle. So now I have 2 gray bundles. I have a neon bundle. Things are going good. So I get to work this morning. I'm drinking my tea and just checking email. And I always keep Twitter up in the background. So Twitter pops up. They're like, hey, Amazon just restocked and they're pre-ordering now. So of course I prefer getting Amazon. So then I jump over to Amazon and I'm able to go ahead and pre-order 2 more. So right now I have 5 Nintendo Switch pre-orders.
Wow.
Oh none of them charge you until they ship. So
none charge until ship.
Otherwise, you'd be how much in debt?
That'd be hilarious if they all ship.
I would be
that'd be awesome.
On the couch tonight. Yeah. So I will eventually cancel the Walmart orders. Walmart gave me an estimated ship date of March 8th, and they're actually shipping to stores, so I have to go to the store and pick it up. Amazon will guarantee me a release on March 3rd, and Best Buy's already confirmed on March 3rd. So I'll keep the 2 Amazon, and I'll keep the Best Buy. I will cancel the Walmart. However, I'm gonna give it a few days, just let the dust settle before I start canceling stuff.
Sure.
Because
you never know.
I want to make sure that nothing gets messed up. So
honestly, knowing GameStop, like I mentioned to you guys earlier, I'm just kind of waiting for some kind of cancellation email because GameStop has this problem. Like apparently their systems were down today, or games weren't pre-ordering properly, systems weren't pre-ordering properly. There's certain stores you couldn't order extra Joy-Cons. Like it was a mess. But my pre-order went through so smoothly, right? Now GameStop said I'm getting it on the 3rd, which is great. They're shipping it to my house. Don't gotta pick it up or anything like that, which is great. But just knowing GameStop and how they like to collect too many pre-orders when they're not ready. Because I remember when I was getting Amiibo back in the day, a year ago, however long ago that was, a year or 2 ago. And I would order an Amiibo, supposed to get a street date, and I'd order it through the website, and it was like 2 or 3 weeks before I got it. It was just like, So we'll see.
Did you see all those bundles they have with it?
See,
all this
now that's the thing.
Crap stuff.
With mine, I got it where it was just the system. But apparently, not even an hour later, they stopped selling that one. You can only get with bundles where it's like $500 or something crazy.
They did that with the NES Classic. It added an extra $200 to it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah,
But,
I had a buddy at work that I've been talking to, about the Switch and kind of getting him hyped up, and he wasn't even gonna. He's not really like a gamer like us, so he didn't even stay up for the presentation.
Sure.
But we had the idea that pre-orders would go on sale. Yeah, I know. So they would go until sometime, today in the day. And so he's like, "Oh, I'm going to get up first thing in the morning. I'm going to start looking." And of course, most of them sold out last night. So
right.
I was emailing them this morning, and I'm like, "Hey, check here." And he was like, "No, they're out. No, they're out. No, they're out." He found one on GameStop at about 9 a.m. But it was a whole bundle. But he was pretty much already sold on it. So he went ahead and pre-ordered, and he sent me back. He's like, "Well, I had to buy a bundle, but I picked it up anyway." So
awesome.
So
guess how easy mine was.
I was gonna say, Brent, how easy was yours, man?
I did nothing.
Well, okay.
Oh my gosh.
With waiting.
No, I've got to admit something. Before we get into all this presentation talk, after the presentation, I was like, if I can't get one, because I knew pre-orders were going to open when I fell asleep. And when we talk about the launch lineup later and how we feel about that, I was at the point where I was like, well, I know it's coming out, but if I want to have a good amount of games, if I had to wait till Christmas, I'd be okay. And the thought went through my head, and Brant was actually proud of me for doing this. We almost took that Switch money and got a PS4 Pro. Because I'm like, look, I was like, because I love Uncharted, right, and Ratchet and Clank. I want to play Detroit and all this stuff, but I was able to get a Switch, and that pushed that idea out the window. But so I'm Switch bound, gentlemen. Okay, now before we hop into our talk about the conference and everything that's going on, Brant, I know last week, Chris and I were kind of talking about what we've been playing lately. You weren't able to make it last week. Are there any big games or things you want to point out?
No, I took my lovely Vita, which is already sort of like a Switch, with me on vacation.
I hate you. Hey, the one difference though between the Switch and Vita is even at the launch of the Switch, there's still better games on the Switch than there is on the Vita. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh! But okay, Brant, where were you last week? Were you just hiding in a closet somewhere?
I was at the pool in Orlando with my awesome Vita, watching my children drown in the pool in Persona 4 Golden.
Oh my
Good
gosh.
parenting. Yeah, that's right. You went to Orlando, right? Tell us what you did, man.
Yeah. Went to Universal Islands of Adventure.
Fun.
Rode the Spider-Man ride. Still is great. I went there when it first opened.
Oh, cool.
This is the first time I've been back, and it's still as great as ever. Harry Potter was awesome.
Awesome.
Jurassic Park, King Kong, that new ride. Their rides are just on another level.
Yeah.
Because it's 3D plus all this interactive stuff coming at you, and it's amazing.
How are the kids? Did the kids enjoy it?
Eli really liked it, but Titus, anything like the Spider-Man ride and the King Kong, which had like pictures that you could look at, he couldn't look at it. It was just too frightening.
Sure.
Aww. So
how old is he?
He's 5.
Okay,
so it makes sense. Yeah. Eli, he's just like, what's going on?
Like, deal with it, son. You got to grow up someday.
He thought it was cool when the electric guy, when you're in the car in Spider-Man, he plugs it down on your car and it makes the whole thing vibrate. Which that was pretty cool.
Hey, Brant, I'm sorry to say, but you missed Super Nintendo World by 8 years?
yeah. No, we will return as well.
For sure.
Man. Okay.
But I did play Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Awesome.
The whole thing I finished
game.
It. Yes.
Good game.
One of the best games of all time. Yeah. The old school design does shine through, but it's one of the best. Yep. I even got the inverted castle and everything.
Cool.
And then finished that. Fantastic. And Hotline Miami 1 and 2, I never finished those. And those games are awesome, so I just decided I just went through them and wanted to pull my hair out a few times because they're ridiculously hard.
Sure.
But the soundtrack is just so good, and I love those games. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Brant, we're glad to have you back because
we are.
Something big happened last night. And originally, I was like, I got to work in the morning, I'm not going to stay up. But, you goobers talked me into staying up. I'm glad I did. We had some good conversation.
Of course.
Watch the show.
Wait a second. Look, wait, before we even get into this, viewers, we need your help, okay? James is, let's say, 30-something, all right? And he likes video games. But for some reason, he thinks he has to go to bed at 7 o'clock.
You are hilarious, sir.
My grandmother doesn't even go to bed that. And this is one of the biggest nights of video game, recent memory.
These nights don't happen.
Right, and this guy's like, oh, guys, I gotta go to bed. I'm so tired. And we're like, you're going to go to sleep an extra couple of hours instead of watching the reveal of the Switch.
I was still going to watch it. I was going to watch it before you guys ever woke up.
It was embarrassing. You should lose your video game
hilarious.
license.
Even me, a Nintendo... Not guy would watch this. Man.
Well, actually, let's kick off and start talking about that presentation. Now, it started off how it should have. We got the launch date, March 3rd of this year.
Which was super early, right?
Yeah, I was expecting the end of
that was good news.
Oh man, I predicted the 17th, which is right in the middle of the month. Mm-hmm. But I honestly thought it could have been as late as the last Friday of the month.
That's what I
would have never guessed the 3rd. Yeah. I would have never guessed the 3rd.
Now the price we found out was $299. Now
dun, dun, dun.
As soon as that happened, Twitter blew up, Facebook blew up, everything blew up. It's too expensive. There are articles all over the place on how expensive it is. It's way too expensive. At $299, it should be $250. That's where PlayStation 4 is. That's where Xbox One is. Now, I will agree. I was expecting 250. Originally, I thought 300 anyway, but I was like 250 would have been fine. And there were rumors swirling around about 250. But I think what people forget, the PlayStation 4 launched at $400. The Xbox One launched at $500. It took them 3 years, or however long it's been, to get down to 250. Why would people expect a brand new system to launch at 250? Like, when looking at it that way, I'm okay with 300.
Yeah, so I do agree that 250 should have been the goal. Not so much for I think that's necessarily what it's worth, but I think we are in with Nintendo. We're in kind of a rebound from a failed Wii U, right? So the idea is they have to get games on their platform, and you do that by building an install base. And $250 to me, even though it's $50, $250 to me just screams like this is a day one purchase for the average consumer.
If they can find one.
If they can find one, which to be honest, I have 5. So it wasn't impossible.
If you need one, go talk to Chris.
Just at Neo Lego.
He's going to open up his brand new store, the Neo Lego store. Just hop online.
Right. All I got is 5 Switches in stock. Come on in. But I will say, so here's a couple things about the price. First off, I'm not mad about the price. This is why. So as soon as they said $299, before we saw anything else, which we're going to get into the rest of the conference in a second. But the thing that I said, and if you remember on the chat, I said they need to pack a game in at that price, right? Spoilers, there is no pack-in game. But here's what I didn't anticipate, and this is what I think that a lot of people are missing. Nintendo has always focused on the controller. And they actually go into that presentation, which I know we'll talk about the Joy-Cons hopefully when we get there. But they go through that cool presentation where they're like, hey, we introduced the D-pad. Hey, we introduced shoulder buttons. Hey, we introduced a joystick and rumble with the N64. And so they go through this. We motion controls with the Wii U. We invented a gamepad with the Wii U. And so they put the time and their effort and their money into a controller. When they show the Joy-Cons, and we'll get to the pricing on accessories, but the Joy-Cons are packed with technology.
Yes,
like those things are much more full-fledged than I thought they were. That was one of my big concerns early on in the shows that we were talking about. I was concerned that they were going to be like cheap pieces of plastic. Remember we had this conversation of like they would just be like nothing, but these are full-fledged, really detailed controllers. So not only are you paying for the nice tablet, but now you're paying for 2 really innovative controller pieces that go on. $299 is a good price for that, and I think that people are overlooking the technology of the controller. They keep saying, "Oh, well, it's not as strong as an Xbox One, or it's as strong, but it's probably not as strong as an Xbox One and a PS4, and you can get those at the same price." But when you look at the technology that goes into the controller, and then you couple it with the fact that those consoles are 3 years old, like $299 is a good entry level price for that system.
I agree.
So I'm not mad about it.
No. Brant, what about you on the price, man? Because I know originally you were considering getting one, but then you saw the price and you're like, and the games just weren't there for you, so you kind of jumped ship.
Yeah, I thought 250. Yeah, 250 would have been perfect. I feel like Chris said, but you think about if you taking a day off, just thinking about it. Chris is right with the technology, like. As with those Joy-Cons, everything they flaunted that they could do with the haptic feedback and how you maneuver them and just the way they work, it was just pretty spectacular, really.
Yep.
Sure.
So yeah, $299 that's a appropriate price. Like I said, to be pro consumer, I think they should have gone $250. Just because it doesn't have a game. If it had a packing game, then the $300 would have made more sense.
Agreed.
But yeah, you can't really complain with the price of the system. Yeah. There's a lot coming with it anyway.
Sure. Yep. Now let's kind of get into that. They started going off the details. They talked about the battery life. The battery life for the actual Nintendo Switch when you're playing it remote It depends. They said about 3 to 6 hours, depending on the game. You know how resource heavy it is on the system. Zelda's going to be about three hours charge. Now, one interesting thing they just released today, the Joy-Con battery life, 20 hours. So
That's great.
now, but the funny thing is, it's 20 hours. The Joy-Cons will last 20 hours on a single charge, but they automatically charge anytime you haven't plugged into the actual console
that
itself.
gamepad.
Right.
Yeah.
So even though they last 20 hours, I mean, unless you just don't attach them, I don't know why you would. I mean, I'm assuming you're always going to keep them attached. But I mean, that I thought that was pretty interesting. So 20 hours on that.
Yeah, and that's good. I mean, yeah, that's great. You know, as far as the battery life goes, you know, when you hear 3 hours, right, it sounds bad. I mean, it just does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're thinking about a console, you're like, oh, this is a portable console. It's only gonna last 3 hours. But like, honestly, I was thinking about it. How often am I sitting down somewhere that I don't have a plug that I can just plug it into? For 3 hours, like very rare. And I was looking on Amazon; they have a car charger, that has a USB-C outlet. So, you know, I was thinking, my wife. I take my wife sometimes to go get her hair done, and sometimes I'll sit in the car, you know, or whatever, and it may take an hour and a half, and I'm hanging out in the car playing my 3DS. You know, so if it starts to die, I have a car charger, you know, right there. I can, you know, for $12.99, like. I can't imagine a world that I'm playing for 3 hours in a place that I don't have some way to plug it up. So,
yeah, and that's what's great about it is that it comes with the charger. If you had to dock it each time to charge it, I could see how that would be a pain. Sure. But since you can just charge it like a Vita, which the Vita lasts 6 to 8. Yeah, it lasts 6 to 8 hours. Okay. The Slim I have lasts that much. The OLED version is less. But I mean, if you think about it, I'd say the Switch is probably 4 to 5 comfortably. Yeah. So that's actually pretty good for the power that thing.
Sure.
I agree.
So I mean, I think 3 to 6 should be pretty good. Now the screen itself is 720p, 6.2 inch multi-touch capacitive touchscreen. So finally, it's using what iPad and phones and everything else is used for a very long time.
Which it had to do. There is no stylus. There is no stylus on this machine.
No.
And they have for so long. I know they had stylus on DS, DSi, 3DS, 3DS XL, new 3DS. Then they got the Wii U. The Wii U. When the Wii U came out, I was like, finally, a console is going to have a great pad. That's actually one of my biggest problems with the Wii U. Mm-hmm. I like playing on the pad, but sometimes I like to just use my finger to do stuff. And like you have to use kind of like the edge of your nail sometimes for it to do anything because it's not multi-touch.
Right.
It's not a glass multi-touch screen. This is a glass multi-touch screen. What you're used to from any tablet, any Apple product. So it's got that it had to be there. That's great.
Cool. Moving on, we talked about storage. It's going to have 32 gigs of internal storage, which doesn't sound like that much. However, you can expand it with micro SD XC cards. I believe up to 256. I was watching Treehouse earlier today, and they had a 256 gig in theirs. Now, those go for around $100, though. Like, if you want to get a 256, at least now, they're not that cheap. But even if you get like 128, it's like $40. Like it's really not that bad.
It's not that bad. Yeah.
Now as far as
probably have them lying around.
If you have a camera or an old phone, you probably have them lying around somewhere. Now to kind of put that in comparison of size of games, Legend of Zelda is going to be about 13 gigs. Yeah. Now they did say let's say you got Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild digitally. And then with the operating system and all that on there, you'd have a little over 40% of the internal storage already taken up.
Yeah. So here's something. I'm going to go ahead and say this now. We'll talk about this as we wrap. Towards the end of the show, we kind of give our final thoughts. Nintendo, they said some good stuff. There were some really big things that they didn't really kind of touch on. That I was a little disappointed hasn't been even mentioned still. Mm-hmm. But for example, is the transfer rate for a USB-C cord is very fast. And so here's an idea. You have 3 USB slots on the drive itself. Okay, so let's say you have a 1 terabyte hard drive plugged up to your dock and you download games, right? And let's say that you're getting ready to go and you want to put 2 or 3 games onto the Switch to take with you from your hard drive. With the USB-C, that should be super fast. So I just looked it up. So the transfer rate with a USB-C cable is 10 gigabytes per second.
Wow.
So you could literally put Zelda onto the console in 2 seconds. Okay? So if that's the case, because, and I bring this up because I'm a digital consumer. We've had this conversation. I don't normally buy physical games. We may talk about that in a little while. But for me, if I can load up a 1 terabyte drive with all the games I'm going to buy, and then when I leave for the day, it's like, oh, I want to put Zelda, I want to put Mario Kart, and I want to put Splatoon. That's going to take up my internal memory. In 2 minutes, the system's completely loaded and I'm walking out the door. That's great. I get home the next day. I want to take, whatever, Fire Emblem, Warriors and, Breath of the Wild, whatever I want to take with me. Then I reload it up and I go back out. If that's that quick and they can do that, like that's a great answer to the digital solution. If that's not there, if there's no transfer in between that, then even if you take it up to 128, gigs of memory, like how long is that really going to last?
Sure.
You're going to have to buy multiple cards. Like with the Vita, I have a 32 gig, I have 3 16s and 8, and it's sort of a pain just to have to monitor which ones have which games and which save that.
Now, the micro SD card, all you have to do is pop up the kickstand in the back. You can slide it out, put a new one in, which is kind of nice. It's easy access, which is great. It's not like the 3DS. We have to unscrew the whole thing and pop off the back and hope you don't break it. And that was a disaster.
Every time I do that, I feel like I'm going to break my 3DS.
Oh my gosh, it was awful. But I mean, like with my Xbox, I've got a 1 terabyte S and a 2 terabyte external drive. And I almost have that full, So I mean, it's just like games are getting huge. So we'll see about that. Also, part of the system, those 2 mystery buttons at the bottom, we didn't know what they were.
Dun, dun, dun.
One is a spot for Amiibo. So you tap your Amiibo on it, full Amiibo support, which is great. So all those little dudes behind me, we can finally use them again, which is great. The other one is a share button. So you can do screenshots, you can do all that stuff. And I didn't say where you can share them yet. So I'm assuming maybe you can put them on Facebook. I know with Wii U, certain games you can upload stuff
media
to YouTube and stuff. So that's kind of nice. So we know that is going to be there.
Yeah, all they said was social media. Now, I just wanted to clarify, the button on the right Joy-Con is actually a home button.
Oh, okay, right.
The Amiibo is actually in both Joy-Cons.
Oh, okay.
And it's where the joystick is, so that so if you're playing 2 players with the Joy-Cons, you could use both of them as an NFC. So on the right side, you have a home button. On the left side, you have a share button. And all they said in the presentation was you could share it to social media sites. But that's kind of cool. You do something, you hit the share button, you put it on Twitter. If it's quick and seamless, that's fine. The problem with Nintendo is that stuff normally takes forever.
Right.
Like even on the 3DS, you can share pictures of Twitter on the 3DS, but it takes forever to load that that whole process. So I don't know that I'll ever use that.
Same with the PS4. It takes a while to upload.
Does it?
Yeah. Depending on internet connection.
Yeah. Now, hey, Brant, because I know on Xbox and PlayStation, I mean, you can share video and whatnot. Do you ever use the share feature on your PlayStation?
I used it when we first started our site.
Yeah.
To record some of those Let's Plays, but I've never really used it.
Yeah, I never use it. Like, I just don't. Like, when I play Madden and stuff, it'll automatically, save your best plays or whatever. I always have to go in my video thing and just start deleting them, and then I have to go in.
It's hilarious. Yeah. Some people use that function, like they have their camera set, and they just do like random things. Like there was this guy carrying this goldfish container with the fish in it. Just with shirtless, just walking around his living room with like a mask on. It's like, why do people do this type of stuff? I mean,
Brand,
you'll
we
find.
don't want to know about your videos, man. Stop trying to promote your videos.
I need some more ideas, so send them to me.
Oh my
I
gosh.
will say, I will say that initially I have my, because I have my day one Xbox One with the Connect. I got the Connect bundle, and I used to record that all the time. I love Xbox record that, right? So anytime there's something cool happened or something funny, I'd be like, Xbox record that, Xbox record that. I don't have the Connect plugged in anymore to the main system, and I didn't even bother with getting the adapter for the 1S that I have. So my Connect is just sitting in the drawer somewhere. So without that function, I never use it. Because, I mean, you have to double tap and then you have to do, I think it's X or Y. I don't want any of that crap. I like being able to yelling at my TV, Xbox record that. And that was fun. But now it's like that feature doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not going to push a button and wait, ruin like the experience of playing the game and wait 10, 12, 15 seconds for it to load. I don't want that.
Right.
I don't want that.
Well, real quick, they talked about what you can get. Like we talked about earlier, there are two bundles. There's the regular, gray and black bundle, and then there's the blue and red bundle, the neon bundle.
Amazing!
And with those, pretty much what you're going to get in the box, you're obviously going to get the Switch itself. You're going to get the left and right Joy-Con. You can get the 2 wrist straps for each Joy-Con. You're going to get the Joy-Con grip, which is that controller type square boxy thing they showed off a while ago. You're going to get the dock to put the system in. And then you're going to get the HDMI cables and power adapters and all that other stuff in the box. That's what comes in the box when you get the system for $299. Now, one thing we kind of hinted at earlier, if you want to get the Pro controller, it just showed off. I believe that's what, $59.99 or is it $69.99? I'm trying to remember.
It's $69.99.
$69.99 for the Pro controller, and then $79.99 if you want to get additional Joy-Cons. Which is, I can't believe that. That is so expensive.
It is. But when you think about, like when Chris said, all the technology that goes in one of those little things, like I can't bring myself to want to play on one of those, but then the more they went into it, it's like, this really thing might actually work.
Yes.
I really want to hold it. Like my whole time going into this, I thought it was going to be, I was going to feel like a cheap VTech,
like
kindergarten
a cheap remote.
Right.
But they look really, solid. Really good. They look smooth. They have rounded edges. Like the controller comes with a joystick, analog joystick that clicks, so it has a button function. It has your either your home or your share button function. It has 4 independent buttons, face buttons. Has 2 shoulder buttons. Then when you turn it sideways, it has 2 shoulder buttons on the top. So when you are playing it sideways, there are other shoulder buttons.
And then there's a little clip you can.
And then there's a clip that adds a nicer surface to those shoulder buttons.
Makes like a controller.
And makes it a little thicker, like a controller with a wrist strap. There's also the light sequence on the inside that tells you what player you are. It has HD rumble, which is like the haptic feedback that we're talking about. It has an IR sensor at the bottom. Which we'll talk about in a few minutes.
I was going to say the IR sensor can determine distance. It can determine like size of things, shapes. Like it's
incredible.
It's incredible.
It has
really cool.
it has rumble. It has a gyroscope in it. Like these controllers are awesome.
Yes.
Now, don't get me wrong. $80 is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. This is the thing that I said this right before we recorded. This is the thing that really kind of gets me is if you buy the Joy-Con set, it doesn't come with a little holder.
Right. You have to get that separate.
So I have kids. If we get a Switch for the family and we want to play Mario Kart, right, and we want to use the actual full controller, I'm going to have to not only pay $79.99 to get the Joy-Cons, both of them. But then I'm going to have to pay, what, is it $29.99 for the holder?
$19.99? Just the little straps in the top
per
part.
each one?
I think it's like $15 for two.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not.
No, not the strap. The little controller base.
That comes with the straps, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's all attached, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all attached.
Because the box I saw was like the topper part with a wrist strap attached.
No, you're talking about the strap. I'm not talking about the straps. I'm talking about the little holder that you slide both Joy-Cons into.
Oh, the middle
Oh.
thing.
The holder,
you're
the
thinking
middle
about.
like
piece.
the grip.
That's going to be
Yes,
more
the grip.
expensive.
Right,
grip.
the grip. Yeah,
That's
the grip
like
is like
29, right?
20 $30.
Yeah, I think it's 29. I think it's 29.99. So, in order for me to get a second independent controller, either I'm paying, I'm going to drop $70 on a Pro controller,
Mm-hmm.
which sounds logical, or I'm going to end up paying $100 for a Joy-Con and then the grip for it to hold it.
Right.
However, if I go with the cheaper option, I lose the functionality of the Joy-Cons, right?
Right. Now they
That's your
did
decision.
say the Pro controller
So it's
is going to have full
crazy.
motion control in it and everything else. So that's going to be kind of nice.
That's good, but it's not going to have the IR. So
Right.
if we're playing games like 1-2 switch or things like that, we're going to need that. So
Sure.
it's just
Now, but here's the
it's
thing though.
hard. It's hard to
if you're-
swallow.
Yeah, but here's one thing you got to remember though. If you're getting just the Pro controller, it's $70, right? But if you get the Joy-Cons, you get 2 controllers technically out of that. So it's kind of like $40.
Yes, but you're not getting a grip. But you're
Right.
not getting a
No,
grip.
actually, one thing with the grip though, when I went on the Nintendo website earlier, you can get a red grip or a blue grip to match the Joy-Con, the colors, which is really nice. And one other thing I saw, I can't remember if it was $90 or $100. I can't remember how much it was. You can buy additional docks. So if you want to put a dock at each one of your TVs,
90.
that's awesome. So like,
it's
if I want to have one
great.
back in the bedroom and one out in the living room, I just pay a little bit more money, get a second dock, and I can just put it wherever I want. That's
Sure,
awesome.
you say it's awesome. But if you start doing the math,
Well, I know
if you
it's
start doing the math,
expensive,
you,
right.
you buy a Switch.
It's awesome.
You buy four.
If you're
Joy-Con
a rich
controllers
person
with
and you have all the
grips.
money in the world, it is awesome.
No. It's
it's a
rich
lot.
people buy $5 and $2,000 VR sets. That's not a problem. It's awesome to the Nintendo fans, but to the casual people, this is all adding up to another Wii U. The tech, I'm more excited about the Switch than the Wii U. Everything matches
And
that. It's something.
we
It's a
forgive you for
system
not
I
liking the Wii U.
want.
It's okay.
But but the problem is it's still they're just not going all in on some things. Like the tech is awesome, but then again the prices just don't seem to be consumer friendly, and I think that's going to scare a lot of potential buyers off, first of all, except for the hardcore Nintendo fans, which the Wii U had.
Right.
I think this system is going to sell way more than the Wii U ever did.
Right.
But it's between 20 million or like 70 million.
Right.
It's somewhere in that range. And right now it's seeming like the lower end. I don't know.
I think what Nintendo's going to do, because you
yeah.
remember like when Wii Remote everything came out, and they weren't like cheap. They're about the same price as the controllers. But they started doing that thing where you paid the same price as a controller to get like pack-in games and all this other stuff. And once people see that, they'll see like the value. Maybe in the future, once we start talking about games in 1-2 Switch, like let's say they make a 1-2 Switch bundle, it comes with the game and 2 Joy-Cons or whatever. And once they find ways to bundle it and make it seem more valuable, then people I think will be a little more.
That's when I'll probably jump in.
Right.
But until then, it's just too much right now for me personally.
Sure.
With all this other stuff I have.
I will go on record to say that I think what they will do is they will release. They'll have like re-releases of different generations of games. So, for instance, they may re-release Super Mario Sunshine in disc form and package it with GameCube Joy-Cons.
That'd be awesome.
I'm telling you, that's
a good idea.
going to
That'd be
happen.
amazing. Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That's going to happen. Okay, so I will want to say this.
The words of Chris.
I guarantee you're going to get
the Chris White guarantee.
You're going to get like the original Smash Brothers on the 64 with 64 like Joy-Cons. That's going to happen. Okay, so here's the thing. I'll say this. I don't think they did a very good job showing, but it looked like from most of what we saw that the good majority of the games could be played with just a Joy-Con on its side.
Yes.
So,
right.
And so I say this from a parent's perspective, right? So when I look at this, I'm buying 2 consoles, one for me that I can take to work with
5.
me and stuff, and then yes, and then one for the
there,
family,
man. Why you complaining?
and then one for the family TV, but that comes with just 2 Joy-Cons, right?
Right.
But if I can put Mario Kart up and I can hand a Joy-Con to my son and a Joy-Con to my daughter, and they can play without really losing anything, play a full game of Mario Kart, which they've shown that we can do, that's great. Can they play Splatoon like that? You know, can they play?
I think so. I mean, as long as they use motion control version.
I know you said, but with just one of them is what I'm saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can use the motion control to aim, move around with the analog stick, I mean, you should be able to do it.
Sure. You should. But what I'm saying is Nintendo didn't tell us this. That's what I'm saying. You should, but we don't know, right? So then we look at Mario, right? So can they play Mario Universe with just one Joy-Con?
Odyssey.
What did I say?
Universe.
Mario.
Whatever.
And you call yourself a Nintendo fan. He's making fun of me. And he doesn't even know the name of the flagship Mario title. I mean,
there's only 2 million units of
I can hear the booing all over the internet right now.
Mario eyeball hat, whatever. Anyway, so these are questions that I have, right? Because I have kids and because I think about that, because I have to think about that. The other part is I have a third kid that plays
games. Less kids, man. Come on,
dude. If there was some trade-in program where I could just trade them in, I would. But they don't have a kid stop. But
they don't give you a nickel per kid anyway. So
stop reproducing.
So here's my concern now, right? So with Cademan, my 3-year-old, he still likes to play.
Man,
that's what he says. It's funny. So Cade likes to play, even though he's not really good. He's 3, but he likes to play, so he needs the controller so he can play. So I can buy a single Joy-Con by itself for $49.99. That's the cost of a Wii remote, and that makes sense for a controller for me. If I can give all 3 of my kids one Joy-Con and they can play a game like Mario Kart 3-player, I'm golden.
Sure.
If I have to buy a grip and 2 controllers for each kid, that's another $200 for my kids to play 3-player games. Like, that is not acceptable.
Right.
Now, I think that you can. I think that you can play with the Joy-Con, but they did not show that, and that concerns me.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Well, talking about price, a new thing for Nintendo, asking for money, online features. Now they're going to have a brand new Nintendo online service, this My Nintendo, whatever they're going to call it, Nintendo Network, or whatever this enhanced version of this service is going to be called, Nintendo Network Plus or whatever. They didn't say how much it's going to cost. All we really know is anyone that gets one at launch, they're going to get free online service till the fall. There's no start date, but once this mysterious fall date happens, it's going to start charging for their online service, just like PlayStation, just like Xbox. But you might be asking, what do I get for my money? I mean, it's mostly what you expect. You can play online, with your friends, and you get your eShop game, your friend list, pretty much all that stuff. The one interesting thing they're doing, which is, I don't know why they're doing this. It's good news followed by bad news. Every month, you'll get a free NES.
We just call that Nintendo. Good news followed by bad. That should be their slogan. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Nintendo. Good news followed by bad news.
But every month, you get a free NES or SNES Classic game. They're going to add online multiplayer to each one. It's going to be awesome.
No, just the SNES games.
Okay, just the SNES games. Okay. But still, that's still really cool. The problem with this service, like with Xbox and PlayStation, you games with Gold, PlayStation Plus, you claim the game, you keep it as long as you have the service. With Nintendo, they expire every month. So like, let's say in March, it's Super Punch-Out on SNES, playing Super Punch-Out. When April comes along, I lose access. I completely lose access to that game. And the only way I can go back to playing it, get my saves back, I have to buy it. Now, I'm assuming whatever the free month of the game is, they'll probably have it like super cheap if you want to buy it that month. At least if they're smart, they'll at least do it that way. But what were they thinking? Why are they taking away access to these games?
It's just like you said.
It's just like a boot in the face. It's like, why would you
it's Nintendo being non-consumer friendly, taking that step, but then not going all the way in, and just like you said with PlayStation and Xbox with Gold, when you have those services and you get all those free games and then you keep them until the service ends, that's awesome. You don't always go back to those games again, but it's just a nice little perk that you have. And this, I don't understand why it's just we don't even know how many games it comes with each month. First of all, it could just be 1 or 2. But
Probably
then,
like Balloon Fight or something anyway. So I mean, it's not.
yeah, the online features are cool. I agree with you there. Playing Mario Kart from the SNES with other people online, that's pretty awesome.
That's really awesome.
But then again, if you just get that game for that month and it goes away, but then you have to pay, they're very muddled with the virtual console. I want to hear more about
games are
that.
$8, right, Chris?
Yeah,
$7.99.
NES games are $5, I thought, for the Wii.
Yeah, $4.99 for
NES, and
then
NES,
$7.99 for SNES.
And it's like
so
10
this
or
stuff,
12 for N64.
Honestly, this stuff,
$9.99 for N64, and then $19.99 for Wii.
I think the whole service is stupid because I'm just going to buy, as long as they let you do this, buy any virtual console games you want, that I want personally, and not even worry with the online service. I think it's just sort of a waste unless you want to play those old games online.
Right. Now, actually, I was going to say real quick, Chris, this brings, like, just since Josh started talking about virtual console, this brings up a big question. What happens to my current virtual console games?
Well, I'm glad you said that, James, because I have a quote from my good friend Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Oh,
he just emailed me.
Oh, did he?
He emailed
me. Screw you guys. You got to rebuy it.
He emailed me via an interview in Wired magazine.
Oh, cool.
And the question is there going to be a discount? This is Wired magazine asking, is there going to be a discount for us if we buy our virtual console games again on Switch? Okay, that was the question. Here is, and I'm reading this, so it's going to be a direct quote.
Now, how new is this article? How was this like today?
This just posted about 7 minutes ago.
Oh wow, okay. Dang.
Whoa,
you are on it.
That's what I do.
Newsflash.
That's what I do. So here's Reggie's response. He says, "What I would say first is, we recognize that some of our most passionate fans have spent quite a bit.
That's not a good start.
That's an overstatement of
whether it's with Virtual Console on Wii or on Wii U. And we recognize that consumers are rightly concerned about moving to the Nintendo Switch without backwards compatibility. My comment is, stay tuned. We understand your concern, and there's more information to come. There's 40 some odd days between now and launch. There are more details to come. And at that point, we'll be able to define all of those various details of the online experience."
Why can't they just say that now?
Okay, wait a second.
They'll have Nintendo Direct.
This is actually decent news. I mean,
it sounds like good news.
Reggie's basically saying we know that you're concerned. Yeah, well, it may be, but he's basically saying we know that you're concerned, that you've invested a lot of money. We understand that, and my answer is stay tuned. We know you're concerned. We have information. Now, it may not be good information.
Yeah, I know that could be terrible information.
But look. If we could say anything, at least it's that they're acknowledging there's a question. Now, so let's get off Virtual Console. Or we can talk about it a little bit. I want to jump back because I have some thoughts about online too. First off, they should have never announced that they were going to charge for an online service. That was a horrible, horrible misstep. Unless you have it fully detailed and can explain what you're paying for. Xbox One, I pay $60 a month for. PlayStation Plus is also $60, right?
Now it is. Yep.
Okay.
You're paying $60 a month? That's crazy.
It went up
They're
$10.
overcharging you, man. Someone's raking you over the coals, man.
I buy everything in fives. That's what I do. So no, it's $60 a year. All right. Every month.
Oh wow.
Every month, $60 a year. Every month, Xbox gives me 4 games. 2 games on Xbox One, 2 games on Xbox 360 that are backwards compatible. So if I have both consoles, they play both places. But if I still have an Xbox One, I'm getting 4 games, right? PlayStation Plus, I think normally does at least 4, sometimes 6, right?
If you still have your PS3, it's 6, and a lot of those you get 3 or 4 because of the what is it?
Cross
Not
compatibility.
backwards.
Yeah. The cross.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cross-play,
which is
cross-play,
another
cross-buy.
pro-consumer thing Sony does, which Nintendo needs to address and do, which they
Sure.
won't. But
they've tested a little bit, but yeah, we have some trouble with that. So let's just cap it at 4 games.
it's a great deal.
Both services give us 4 free games every month. For Xbox, the Xbox 360 games that we get for life.
Right.
If we cancel our service right now, every 360 game they've ever given us, we own.
Right.
The Xbox Ones go away once we cancel the service. That's how PlayStation Plus is. Either way, 4 games every month. I will gladly pay for that. I will gladly get 4 games. Now, the problem with Nintendo Switch is there are no games.
They're rentals.
Well, no, but I'm just saying there are no games. They can't start giving away games because there are no games.
They're
That's
not
why
charging
they're giving away
anything
virtual
until
console. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not charging anything until November.
And Virtual Console is fine, but just for one, it's not enough.
Sure.
What they should have done, they should have spent the whole year building a catalog and building an infrastructure, and then next year at E3, just like PlayStation did when they announced PlayStation Plus, hey guys, we're going to take, you still get free service if you want free service, which Nintendo's still saying.
Yeah.
You still have, a certain amount of free, which Xbox Silver still has a certain amount of free, right? But if you want to pay the tier, we're going to start giving you 3 virtual console games every month. And you get to keep those virtual console games as long as you're part of the service. What they should have done is not even that. They should have said our virtual console library is now freaking video game Netflix. And with your membership, you can browse and you can play from any selection of 50 virtual console games that rotate out every month.
Sure.
Like there's something
That
they
would
could
be
have
awesome.
done that would have made sense. This is a horrible idea, but it's because we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But the fact that they've said it now has us being like, great. So in the fall, if I'm going to expect to be part of this service, I'm going to have to pay. And I have no idea what I'm paying. Like that, it was a horrible idea for them to mention it. The other thing here is that some people may miss it, but they are bringing voice chat, but it's through your phone. You understand this?
It's through an app, yeah.
As a paid service member, you utilize your app to set appointments,
ridiculous.
to add friends, and then to voice chat while you're playing games on your smartphone. It is not through the device at all. What the Pam is going on?
You can just
Stuff
use Skype,
like that.
Right, yeah.
It's just bad. They should have not said anything. We're at the point where I was hoping they would come out with a strong stance on where they are with the online system. And what they came out with was basically no information, but just huge red flags. What they should have said was absolutely nothing. They should have said, we're building an online infrastructure. You're going to get more information on it when it's ready, but you'll at least have, a beta online multiplayer at launch, something like that.
Right, because it's not even starting till the fall. I mean, they have all this time. They've got like 6 months to figure this out. And one other thing they didn't mention, which I thought I wasn't sure if they would or not. They didn't mention any kind of like achievement or trophy system, nothing like that. Which isn't really, it's not really important to us, but to a lot of core gamers, that is important. They love getting those achievements. They love comparing things with their friends. Look at Super Mario Run, right? People are always comparing the runs with their friends. They want to do better than their friends.
Yeah.
How many coins you have? That's what people want, and they didn't mention anything, any kind of comparison program or anything.
But we don't know if it's going to be there or not. Like they're building this with DNA, so DNA is the one who built Mario Run's system.
Right.
So maybe that's there. We just don't know. Again, this just goes back to like and Nintendo's bad about this, man. If you don't have something to show, like it's okay. It's okay to come out and say we are working on the next generation of Nintendo's online service. But it's not ready right now. But it's not ready right now. So you're going to get the console at launch. You're going to get all the stuff that we're talking about. And when we're ready to tell you about online, you're gonna hear about it. That's all you had to say.
It's negative press after that.
And I think what they were afraid of was if they said our online's not ready or whatever, or if they said, you get free online, but then in the fall they start charging for it, They're afraid of the backlash from that. And so, like, we're just going to lay all our cards on the table now, let everybody know what's going on.
Yeah,
And that's kind of that's the path.
That's something they could still not just throw out, but at least have a detailed plan on it instead of just saying, "Hey, there's this charge service."
Right.
We don't know what.
Yeah.
We'll see. But, okay.
Or because they said that you're going to get it for free until it launches. Like what they should have done is just say, hey, you're getting base level online system,
right.
And we have a premium service coming in the fall. We can't wait to tell you guys what that. It'll be a premium paid service that you can look forward to. That's all you had to say.
Right.
But the way they did it was like, hey, our whole infrastructure is going to cost you money, but we're going to let you try it for free in March. Like that's a bad sell.
Right.
Just be like, hey, you're gonna get entry level base stuff, and we have a premium service coming. It's gonna be great. We'll tell you about it later. Like it was just bad messaging.
Sure. And now we're talking about things that people absolutely loved about the presentation. So let's just, as we're actually kind of working our way through the presentation. After they did all that and talked about they talked about the price and the online features, and they talked about the Joy-Con specs. After that, they got into the games. Now, the first thing they kick off with for their brand new system is a game where you don't need the system.
That
it's
listen.
1-2 switch. Now, use the Joy-Cons. Use the rumble and stuff in the Joy-Cons, but you don't need the screen.
That was one of my favorite parts of the show.
That's how they open their game segment.
Like, is this Red Dead Redemption with these cowboys?
And the guy said it like 3 times, right? He was like, whatever he said. But he was like,
we apologize.
The translator was like, you don't even have to look at the screen.
Yeah.
You play the game by looking into the eyes of the other person.
Player. And you you feel it with your hands or whatever. It's just like, oh my god.
I'm like, I call that work. I do that 8 hours a day. I don't want to do that. Like I plug into a screen so I don't have to do that.
I feel like 1-2 switch should have been like, if they really want to show off how great the Joy-Cons are, make it a pack-in. Make it like Nintendo Land. Make it like
it should have been a pack-in.
That game, because honestly,
100%.
I don't know who's going to buy it. Maybe.
It looks like dumb fun like Wii Sports.
Right.
I will buy it.
So we'll see.
It's something to show off the tech, which should be a pack-in, like you guys said.
Sure.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
In the interview, Reggie actually spoke to why it wasn't a pack-in.
I'm going to have to read that.
I don't have the article up again, so this is not a quote. This is a paraphrase. But basically, he just said that we wanted to give you the system at a better price.
I mean, that whole $5 for that game must have really hurt their pockets.
But his reasoning was rather than make you have a game that you may not want, they give you the console at a cheaper price.
Well, that's what Nintendo does. They give you things you don't think you want.
I'm telling you what he said. Because I will say that I actually like 1-2 switch, and again, going back to what we talked about earlier, I will play this the Switch a lot with my kids, and that's a game that'll be fun. You know, I come home from work and they're all jumping around, and we see who can eat, who can milk the most cows or eat the most sandwiches.
Right.
Like, that'd be great.
And with that, I mean,
your favorite pastime.
That's the game that can really show off your tech. You should have that as a packet. It should have been in there. But
that's like the Wii Sports and the Wii U, whatever.
You need people to understand why these Joy-Cons aren't just another Wii remote. You have to show them why.
Sure.
And that game's going to do it.
And with the portability, like imagine like strolling into work or strolling into, like a party or a get together, right? And you bring your Switch with you and we're all sitting around. You're like, oh guys, you got to check this out. It's hilarious. You set it down, you hand the person the controller, and you're like, okay, all you have to do is try to eat as many sandwiches as you can in 10 seconds. 1, 2, switch. And you just start eating sandwiches. Like literally, if you guys watch the video, the IR sensor is pointed at your face and you open your mouth like you're eating sandwiches, and you have to eat. See how many sandwiches?
I wish you
never want to see that image again.
So, if you guys can make a GIF out of that, that'd be great.
Disturbed.
Oh man, that was awesome.
Like, so imagine like standing around watching your coworker do that at work, and how much fun that would be. And then that guy's gonna leave. And he's gonna be like, this is great.
Yep,
you gotta milk the cow, or
that's the kind of stuff that starts the conversation. It's something easy. It's not intimidating. People would love that.
It should be
But-
pre-installed on every Switch when you
Right.
buy it.
Now, Brant, what do you use to play 1-2 Switch? What does every person need? They don't need the screen. What do they need?
You need your nifty, difty, dandy Joy-Cons.
No, you need your arms. And actually, that
That is a horrible.
is the next game they showed off.
Do
Now-
not
Arms.
Like a fail-away.
segue.
Come on, that segue was awesome. Now, arms is something when they started showing this, and it showed like this businessman, like this schoolgirl, like walk up to each other in a dark room, and then their arms turn into springs, and they start punching at each other, and we're like, what are we watching? Because honestly, at this point,
Yeah, that was
we're
that
expecting
was bad
big
point.
stuff. They started off with 1-2 Switch and then go to a brand new IP. There's nothing wrong with the brand new IP. I think brand new IPs are great. Nintendo needs them all the time. I mean, we had some great stuff like Pushmo and all sorts of other, great new IP with recently.
Splatoon.
Yeah, Splatoon. But it's like we wanted them to kick off something big. Kick off the show with a bang, not with this unknown IP stuff. Because we were all sitting there watching the show, right? And we're like, oh no, it's happened. Nintendo has ruined their press conference already. And we weren't even halfway through it. Now, Chris, I know
It's
you...
good news followed
by bad. Look how great these Joy-Cons are. Wait till you see the games. But now, Chris, you've been watching Treehouse, and you're starting to turn a little bit on arms. It's a full motion control game. You hold the Joy-Cons, one in each hand, and you punch at each other.
So look, if you watch the videos for arms and you spend a little time and it's not just enough to watch the videos. Like listen to the Treehouse guys talk about it. They're giving you some good details about it. It looks and feels like honestly like Overwatch, but it just doesn't suck.
Are you kidding me?
It's nothing
So-
like Overwatch. We're just putting that out. Disclaimer.
Yeah.
No.
Don't
no.
listen
These
to this
opinions are
guy.
not the
No.
opinions of Life of Gaming.
No, look, if you look like the stylized character, and it's basically a hero punch game, is what it is. You have, I mean, it just is like
the hero
Great.
punch game.
I mean, it is right. I mean, what you call Overdrive
Crisp.
a hero shooter, like that's what this is. This goes back to the idea. I don't know that I'll be playing a lot of ARMS by myself, just because it's just not something that I would get a lot of enjoyment out of, because the aspect that I'm most looking forward to is just carrying my console like I do my 3DS and playing. That's not going
Right.
to work for ARMS,
Right.
but.
I mean, you could technically
You get a room full of friends hanging out, and
Mhm.
dude, this just goes back to we had so much fun with Wii boxing when we came out,
Sure.
and those controllers were horrible. They're like the 1-to-1 was just way off, and you could never really do exactly what you're supposed to do. But we were blocking and ducking and punching, and we would go for hours just playing Wii boxing, and the kids love it. So ARMS is basically a glorified version of that does have hero characters. Like these characters have backstories,
Mhm.
they have names, they have traits, they have special abilities, and
Great names like Springman and Ribbon Girl. So
yeah, those are not their names.
no, actually they are. I watched the Treehouse thing.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, it's Springman, Ribbon Girl. Like
Right.
there's Mummy Man. Like
Off
it's,
to
yeah,
a
it's
great
not.
Whatever they are, yeah. But I mean, it's great, and sure, it'll be something fun, to sit in a room just like Wii boxing. You hold the controllers, you punch at each other, you
Right.
have a lot of fun.
And I feel like ARMS is just like 1-2 Switch. It's a game that it's one of those launch titles that's there to show off the tech.
Sure.
It's there to show off because the motion control in these cons is way better than the Wii remotes ever were, even with the Motion Plus. And they want to show that off. And it's like this is the game they want to do that with.
So I'm going to go ahead and mention one of my really big concerns about Nintendo. What I think Nintendo is. Yeah, this is one of the big ones, and I think that you guys may agree with me when I explain it. But I feel like Nintendo is thinking something that has me a little concerned. And this is what, from the presentation, for what I've been reading, this is what I think that they think, which is that you're gonna have people around you with Switches. So what I get from the ARMS trailer, right, is that one person is randomly walking up to a completely different person. You have a middle-aged man and then a small schoolgirl. And they both...
What are you trying to say, man?
No. I'm saying that's what the video was.
She had... oh, man. Ugh.
Right? Didn't she have like a schoolgirl little outfit on? Right?
Yeah,
Chris, we don't want to hear into your fantasies here. Come on.
So here's the thing. In order to play ARMS, you have to use 2 Joy-Cons. Right? Everybody agree with this?
Right.
So now, in order for me to play, ARMS with, my friend or my child, I have to buy an $80 another set of Joy-Cons, right? Everybody agree with this math?
That's it.
Okay,
right.
So what I think Nintendo is shooting for is hoping that, hey, friend, hey, John, why don't you come over tonight? We'll have some dinner. We'll play ARMS. Bring your
always what I wanted to do.
bring your Joy-Cons.
Friends. Why would you put me through this?
bring. You guys, we can't record a podcast this late if you guys can't focus. But you would say, okay, John, come over. We're gonna play. Bring your Joy-Cons, right? Sure. I mean, isn't that what it kind of sounds like? What it kind of feels like?
Sure.
All right. So let me ask you guys: in your daily routine, how many people do you interact with on a weekly basis that have PlayStation VR or that have Xbox One?
But PlayStation VR came with
it's not the point. It's not
plus demo that the Switch should come with.
You're missing the point. How many people do you know that have PlayStation VR? They come to your house.
None of my friends have PSVR.
Okay.
But when they see it, they think it's amazing.
First of all, it's an unfair question. He doesn't have friends, so stop picking at old wounds.
James?
Right. So, James, how many people come to your house that have an Xbox One?
1, maybe 2.
Okay, so my point then still remains that I think that they're trying to sell the idea that because everything's expensive, you bring your own stuff, right? Yep. They even show it in the trailer. There's Wi-Fi, there's local Wi-Fi. So you can have 2 Switches playing, multiplayer games in local Wi-Fi. I'm telling you that I am not going to know anybody in my circle that's going to come over to my house for a barbecue that's going to have their own Switch.
ARMS.
Which comes back to my problem is that if you can't play with just one Joy-Con on most of the games, like that's going to be a huge problem because I'm not gonna invest hundreds of dollars in order to have multiple controllers. So it's a big problem.
Chris, just remember, with the Switch, you have the right to bear arms. Now,
all right, move on.
We actually hopped into some good news. Good news, okay? Splatoon 2 is happening. The rumors have been swirling for a while that it was going to just be like a remix of 1, with some new added DLC, kind of like, what they didn't show at this presentation like they're doing with the other games, Mario Kart 8, which are getting a deluxe version, add a bunch of DLC. Splatoon is an actual sequel, and it looks amazing. I'm so hyped. I'm so excited. Now,
good.
Brant, you've never been a fan of Splatoon, but if you had a Switch, I bet you would play it.
Yeah, it looks like the perfect game to have with the kids. It sort of reminds me of Overwatch, Chris White, in a way.
I promise you that ARMS is a better analogy to Overwatch.
Oh my gosh.
No. It's the same general concept. It's just fun. And you're right, it does appeal to me. That's a game like Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 1 and 2 that I would enjoy and like to have.
Now, Chris, I'm assuming you're excited. You're still playing Splatoon 1, right?
I love Splatoon.
So
Splatoon is Splatoon is probably my favorite game on the Wii U. So yeah,
Yeah, it's good.
I could not be more excited. We were talking about in the broadcast. We were talking about uh, I play my Wii U 100% off screen play, except for Splatoon. Splatoon is the only game that I ever turn the TV on because they do not let you play off screen. And their argument was always, "Oh, well, you just can't play it without the screen because you have to have that to see what the map is doing." And guess what they added to the game? A button where you can push and see the flipping map. Like, how hard was that, right? So, yeah, I love Splatoon. I love it, and to be able to actually play it off screen now, I cannot wait. That is a day one lock for me. I love it.
Awesome. Now, that's supposed to be coming in April. So, like a month after Switch launches, or no, it's July. I'm sorry, it's July. Mario Kart is April. So, I mean, it's still coming, within the summertime. You can get Splatoon because that's a great game. After that, they announced Mario Odyssey, or as Chris likes to call it, Mario Universe.
Universe is a much better name anyways.
But now, this game, we first saw it, I'm like, what is going on? Because all of us, I remember we're all like, what is happening? Because Mario is running around in the real world. He's like jumping on skyscrapers. He's hopping on taxi cabs. He's swinging on light posts. It was really weird.
I said when we were watching it I said when we were watching it that I thought it was fake. That I thought they were doing like a spoof video,
Sure.
like that he was going to show up at the NYC store. No, I honestly thought he was gonna like run up to the NYC store. And they were gonna be like,
That's a good.
They were gonna be like,
pre-orders now. Yeah.
get your pre-orders tomorrow. Oh. And then it was like gonna cut away. But as actually a game, it was amazing.
I was like, what? And now I will say today, after I got home from work, I watched not all the trailers, but like I watched Mario again and Splatoon again, and oh my gosh, Zelda. We'll get to that in a little bit. But like watching Mario trailer again, I'm like, I'm sold. I am absolutely sold. I love 3D Mario.
It looks fantastic.
It looks amazing. Yeah. Like that part was in the forest. He's like running, like flowers are appearing below him to make his path. I'm like, oh my gosh! Like it just, it looks so.
But
good.
here's like it's the little things, right? So I've been playing a lot of Super Mario Run, which I love. Mm-hmm. And Super Mario Run does this great thing where when he jumps up to a ledge, and if he can't reach it quite, he will grab the ledge and vault himself up, which is an amazing mechanic that's never been in a 2D Mario game. And to be honest with you, I don't know how I'm going to play a 2D Mario game in the future without having that mechanic. I love the catching this. But now you watch the 3D game, and he's climbing, and he's what is the word I'm looking for? Where he's going like by the side of the building, like scuttling along with his hands, and like he's just wall running, wall jumping. Like he's very, very active. You see him using his hat.
He can throw his hat. He does like an odd job, and like throws his hat out.
Yeah,
he
throws his hat, which he can hit enemies with, and then he can use it to actually platform. If you watch him right after he gets from New York onto the ship, and then as soon as he comes off the ship in that like Mexican-looking town, he rolls in a ball.
Yeah, he does. He pulls
rolls
a Sonic
down
the Hedgehog, man.
He
learned it in the Olympics. I mean, they were working together as a team, and Sonic said, "Let me teach you something new."
You see him jump in the water, and he has a brand new dive animation. That
and like he actually holds his breath when he goes into water now.
Yeah,
it looks really cool.
His cheeks looks great. It's the little things in that game that make it look amazing. You can see the hair in his hair,
like you can see his hair detail and his mustache detail.
The fabric of the hair.
Great. You were the first one to notice that. Like you can see his mustache. Like it looks.
Yeah.
Now there was a little surprise. Well, also I must say, Bowser looks pretty spiffy. He's wearing like a tuxedo.
Yeah, man.
Hat. And there's this big poster that says like Royal Wedding. So that I'm assuming that's like the you're trying to stop the wedding of Bowser.
It's the Red Wedding.
Now one thing apparently the new meme that's going around from that game. If you notice when he goes to like New York, wherever that's supposed to be, there's a big like banner in the background that says New Donk City. Apparently that's the name of the place.
Very nice.
But at the end, there was a surprise in the trailer. We have no idea what it means, but for some reason, eyes grew on his hat. Like Mario,
Very
like he did his
odd.
stance and said Super Mario Odyssey, and then eyes popped onto his hat. So I have
Well,
no idea what's happening with that.
I will. If you watch the trailer back, right, near towards the end, Bowser steps on his hat.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but it looks like maybe Bowser takes his hat and then he finds another hat, but that hat is sentient and helps him, on
Kind of
the
like the
journey.
Minish Cap.
Sure, kind of like the Flood backpack. It's just a companion tool that he's going to use.
Sure.
But I think it kind of gets set up because it looks like Bowser kind of crushes his hat, so he needs to get a new hat. But yeah, I mean,
Right.
super cool. I mean, he's got personality. I mean,
Looks good.
Whatever.
Now,
That
Brant,
game looks amazing.
right now, Brant, what did you think of
Yeah,
Mario?
I agree with you guys. It looked fantastic. Like, I didn't know what I was watching when he was in the real world and bouncing to all these other worlds. And
Now,
it's
you
a game.
weren't a fan of
I
Galaxy,
want to
though.
play.
I want to say you weren't a fan of Galaxy.
I
right?
wasn't a fan of the first. I liked the second Galaxy a lot better. There were just a lot of design decisions in the first one that didn't make sense to me. But I understand the merit of those games, and I'm not taking away anything that when people say it's the best game of all time, because I can see why it is. But yeah, this one it looks like it takes it up a notch
Right.
from the Galaxy, which is what I want.
Cool. After that, next game, Brant, was one that both you and I were actually excited for, and this was a total surprise. I had no idea it was even in the works. Xenoblade, he's called Xenoblade 2. Now, I'm assuming the way they set up the story, it looks like it might be a sequel to Xenoblade Chronicles, not Xenoblade X.
Which is great.
Which is great, because honestly, of the two games, Xenoblade Chronicles is the better game. Now, Chris, we talked while we were watching the show. You still haven't played a Xenoblade game.
Never played a Xenoblade game. No, I actually went on the eShop today, and I'm thinking about downloading.
On 3DS.
I have a new 3DS, so I'm thinking about downloading the Chronicles for the new 3DS and giving that a
Chronicles
run.
of Narnia.
Yeah. So, yeah, never really. It isn't that I necessarily. It just never hit me. I mean, what was it? It came out on Wii. On Wii, right?
Yep. That was the one that was
a
GameCube exclusive. Because remember, I bought it, and I've got the physical copy, and like the value of it shot up like super high, and the trade-in value is super high. But then it was one where GameStop like repressed the discs or something and made more, so the value went down.
Yeah, so I just never. I ended up not buying a lot of stuff for Wii, just because Wii's kind of fizzled out, with software and stuff.
Sure.
So I never played it, and
really good.
and so never got around to it. Then it came out on the new 3DS. I thought about it, just never jumped in. But yeah, I mean, I'll get. It looked great.
Yeah,
I mean, the
like
scale
I said,
of the game.
It's a long game.
Looks
It's like
really
100 plus
cool.
hours easy. So
Wow.
I mean, lock yourself in a cabin somewhere. Just just
Cabin
get a
in the
big old
woods.
can of beans and a bucket for
don't-
pooping into, and just.
I don't really have a. Wow.
After that, I'm just going to kind of rattle off some games here. They talked about a brand new Shin Megami Tensei. Now, I've never been much into that series, so I mean, I'm assuming people that love that series
It's
are
the
excited.
poor
for that.
man's child to Persona, but the people really like that series.
Right. And they also showed off a brand new Warriors game, kind of, like Hyrule Warriors. This is going to be Fire Emblem Warriors. So
Yes.
Now, I think the Fire Emblem characters actually probably fit in better with the whole Dynasty Warriors than Hyrule Warriors does. But if they can get the same magic they got in Hyrule Warriors, it's going to be fantastic. They also showed off Dragon Quest 10 and 11, and then Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2. Now, I know we kind of mentioned those earlier. Now, I've never been a Dragon Quest guy, but either of you, are you guys excited that they're bringing all of this Dragon Quest to the system?
The PS2 era ones are what I grew up with, and those games are masterpieces.
Is that 10 and 11?
Maybe so. Sort of like what Final Fantasy did with 1 and 2 and made them 4 and 6 or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, those it's a series that's more deeply connected to the East, so Japan, but it has a cult following in America, and they're very traditional RPGs. They're harder to get into than Final Fantasy, but they'll have some reach here, I have a feeling.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I like the Dragon Quest games. I was actually, what's the one that comes out in a couple weeks? Is it 8.
8 for the 3DS.
Yeah, and then but then 10's the one that's coming out on. Well, I mean, 10's coming out on Switch, but they had just announced it for just 3DS and PS4, right? It was 10.
Yeah,
Because I've been reading a lot about 10, and I was planning to get it on the 3DS. But looking at screens of the PS4 version, like it looks really great on PS4, and so knowing that it's going to come to Switch, I'll probably just hold off and I'll grab that. Yeah, I like the Dragon Quest games; those games are really good. So yeah, I'll definitely play. I don't know about Heroes. I've never played the Heroes game.
It's like the Koei Tecmo Dynasty Warriors, like sort of deal.
Okay, yeah. So I probably won't play those, but yeah, definitely.
Which I'm
10
glad.
and 11.
That's another positive for the Switch is the third party, especially Koei Tecmo. With I love the Dynasty Warriors series, and it looks like they're bringing those games over. Playing those on the go would be awesome.
Yeah,
which I play on my Vita anyway. But.
Right, and that's one thing. Looking at all the games, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. Just playing them on the go is going to be awesome. After this, they had a bunch of representatives from a bunch of different companies come out. They had Sega come out. Someone from Sega come out. He didn't really mention any games. We do know Sega Mania is coming, a couple other things. We didn't show anything off.
Sonic.
They had Suda51 come out. And
he was drunk as balls.
Like I was saying, they said he was drunk.
That was hilarious.
But they're making a sequel to No More Heroes, and I can't be more excited. I love No More Heroes. And just knowing that's coming to Switch.
Touchdown.
Super pumped. Now, he didn't say if it was coming anywhere else. It may be coming other places. I don't know. But it'd be awesome to have it on the Switch because I loved 1 and 2 on the Wii. Fantastic games. And, of course, Todd Howard came out and said Skyrim on Switch is real.
That was great, man.
Now, one thing they did say, the Skyrim on Switch is the 360 PS3 version. It is not the remastered version. Which, I mean, there's not really that big of a difference between the two, just kind of high-res textures, things like that. But honestly, I don't know how they made that whole game fit on a cartridge. That blows my mind.
That gives us hope to what they can fit on the cartridges.
Right. So, I mean, that's exciting. And then, of course, EA came out to show off FIFA. Now, I've never been a big fan of FIFA. I love Madden. I play Madden and some other EA sports games, but I've never been a FIFA person. But I know that's a big game around the world. That's like the top-selling sports game.
Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome. But after that, because I don't think I missed anything, but about to hop into the end of the show. They ended the show exactly what we thought they would. And they showed off one of the greatest Zelda trailers ever created. I mean, this game looks amazing. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, going to be a launch title. Yeah, full voice acting. I mean, just the story looks so epic. Oh my gosh, I've watched that trailer like 5 times.
Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing. Zelda for me is day one.
Absolutely. It's the only game I pre-ordered.
They could have literally not shown me anything about that game, and I would not care at all. That game is going to be purchased on day one without question. What they showed was amazing. Like, I mean, I still worry that the world's really big, and it may feel kind of empty at times, but I'm even okay with that. Just kind of wandering around has always been a great part of Zelda, but it looks just so stinking good. I love the art style. I think the art style is just really, really tight. I like that they focused on Zelda in the trailer. They gave us a really good look at Zelda and kind of her interaction. I love that there's some voice, some voiceover and stuff, which is cool. Yeah,
and the voice acting was really good.
It was great.
There's not really a lot of voice acting in Nintendo games. I know like some Metroid games have done it in the past, things like that. But the voice acting was top notch. It was really good.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I mean, Zelda is the killer app.
Yes.
Like I think I said on the chat to you guys, but I will echo it here. Like, if they never put another game on that console other than Zelda and Mario Odyssey, like, that to me is enough to warrant the purchase. Those two games looked brilliant. So I can't wait for Zelda.
Now, Brant, I know you love Zelda. I mean, at least you used to.
Too deep.
You, for a while there, you're like, I'm getting a Switch. This looks amazing. This looks amazing. And by the end of the show, you're like, I don't think I'm going to pre-order it. I'll wait till the end of the year. And now you're at the point you're saying, I might as well just get a Wii U and play those games there than get a Switch.
No, that was just overreaction because I could not play on the Wii U gamepad at all. Like I'm fine. This game looks fantastic. It looks like a system seller all the way. They have their Mario game, their Zelda game. That's all they really need. And so obviously it'll sell well in these first few months. After that, who knows? But yeah, it looks fantastic. There's not really much I can elaborate on. I was blown away as you guys after all the negatives that they've shown leading up to this. It's just a fluke because maybe they're showing it from the Wii U version, but
right,
yeah, it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
Variety in enemies. There's voice acting. It's just the correct note. What I want from a Zelda game. I've been playing Hyper Light Drifter.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
It's a great indie. It has the same DNA of a Zelda game, and I was like, "This is the way Zelda should be." And it looks like it's not just have that retro look, but it's going back to what makes Zelda great, which is exploration and going back to the old school Nintendo way it should be.
Right. And I feel like this whole podcast has been fantastic. But no, this whole presentation, I felt like it really has some ups and downs. And there were parts from the show I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to pre-order it. Because like I said earlier, there were points where I was thinking, I'm just going to get a PS4 Pro. I'm going to wait for the games to come. But of course, I end up getting one. Chris ended up getting one. A lot of our friends ended up getting one. Brant, do you think eventually you'll still get one? I mean, because originally you said you were going to get one by the end of this year, the holiday. You were going to get one. Where are you sitting at on the fence now?
I'm sitting at. There's so much to play on other systems that I'll probably just wait until next year. Once we know more details, I'll feel more virtual console and online settings. Then I'll feel more comfortable getting in. And if they miss on those things though, it'll go back to being one of those things. Well, yeah, I really want to play Zelda and Mario, but is it enough?
Sure.
Is it enough just to have the exclusive games?
Right.
Yeah,
now,
they will have enough. I'd just like to go on record real quick to say that Brent will have a Switch console by the end of the year.
Well, he got
by the end of the year.
Okay. Well, now here's the thing.
Whoa, my mind's blown. You're like fourth wall breaking here with me.
Now here's the thing, guys. If you're gonna buy a system, Brant, you're going to want the games to be there, right?
Right.
Nintendo has released this list of every single game that is coming out for Switch. I don't think they're all this year.
Dark Souls trilogy. I would pre-order one if that was the truth. I tell you that right now. Here is what's
currently on the way for Switch as of right now, all the currently announced games. So from Nintendo, we have 1-2 Switch, ARMS, Fire Emblem Warriors, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, an untitled Pokemon game that they mentioned is on the way, Snipper Clips, whatever that is.
Oh, I love it.
Splatoon
Snipper Clips is great.
Splatoon 2, Super Mario Odyssey, and Xenoblade 2. That's all just from Nintendo. 2K games, we've got NBA 2K18. Activision has announced Skylanders Imaginators. Arc System Works. We have a new Blaze Blue game and something called New Frontier Days, whatever that is. Bandai Namco. We got Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Taiko Drum Master, and then it just says an unannounced Tales game. So whatever that may be. And of course, Bethesda, we've got Skyrim. From Capcom, they announced Ultra Street Fighter 2. Electronic Arts, we've got FIFA. Here's a big one for you, Brant. This might sell you on the system. From Focus Home Interactive, Farm Simulator 2017.
Yes, I saw that on the highlight reel. I was ecstatic.
Konami's got Super Bomberman R. Microsoft is bringing Minecraft Switch Edition, which I'm assuming is going to have all that special Wii U content probably packed in. Now, I think it says Nippon. I don't know how to pronounce that. Disgaea 5 Complete Edition. From Sega, they've announced they're going to bring Project Sonic 2017, whatever that's going to be, Puyo Puyo Tetris, the Shin Megami Tensei game we mentioned earlier, and Sonic Mania. Square Enix is bringing Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, Dragon Quest 10 and 11, I Am Setsuna, and then Project Octopath Traveler.
So real quick.
I've got plenty more, sir.
No, I know. Hang on, just real quick. Project Octopath. Blah
Terrible
blah.
name,
It's a horrible
but
name.
it looks awesome.
But James has a bladder of a small woman.
Thank
so in the middle of the conference, he had to run to the bathroom. While he was doing
he
that,
missed the best looking game.
I saw it. It still didn't
Project,
impress me at all. It's a tactics game. I don't care.
Project Octopus Man. What is it called? I don't care.
Project Octopath Traveler.
Yeah, that's the one. Listen, that game looked awesome. It looked like a tactics game.
Yeah, that looks right up my alley.
It had like a storybook, pixel art, like that game. That I'm really pumped for that game.
Yeah, that's it. Looks like a good one.
From there, they also announced ukuleles coming to the system. From Telltale Games, we got Minecraft Story Mode. They're bringing the complete edition over. Ubisoft announced Just Dance 2017, Rayman Legends Definitive Edition, and Steep. And then Warner Brothers is bringing Lego City Undercover.
Yep, I will buy that one.
Now, indie games, they have a little list of indie games that are also coming. I'm just going to rattle these off real quick. Arcade Archives, whatever that is. The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth.
Yes.
Constructor HD. Cube Life. Dungeons of Czar. Fast RMX, which I'm actually super excited for because it's a sequel to Fast Racing Neo. If you haven't played that yet on the Wii U, it's amazing. Has Been Heroes. Monster Boy in the Cursed Kingdom. Red Out, Rhyme, which I'm probably going to buy that on
Rhyme
Switch.
looks so good,
amazing,
so good.
Riverside, The Sacred Hero, Seasons of Heaven, Shovel Knight. Now, Shovel Knight's going to come with all DLC. It's going to come with the co-op mode that was on the Wii. That's coming over. It's going to be fantastic.
It'll be great.
Stardew Valley, which I know you're excited about, Chris.
I'm pumped.
Siberia 3.
Literally did.
That's awesome.
That
I
is
buy Stardew Valley on the Xbox One because I wanted it on Switch.
I'll buy it again.
every single game I've listed is everything that's currently been announced for Switch. Now, there's more that's not there, but that's every title that's currently been announced. So, I mean, they've got stuff coming. But, you know, like you said,
it's a
Chris,
good list.
Like you said, Chris, I mean, I'm going to get Shovel Knight, absolutely. I'm going to get Rhyme, absolutely. I'll probably rebuy Binding of Isaac again. I'm going to get, you know, Fast Racing Neo sequel, Mario, you know, Xenoblade. Like, there's, now, honestly, I don't think Xenoblade will be this year. It'll probably be 2018.
No. Yeah.
But there are just, I mean, this, because like I said, there was a split second in there. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to keep my pre-order. But after watching those trailers again and reading this list, I think I made the right choice of making my pre-order.
There's some great stuff coming, and you know, say what you will about the Wii U. I agree that the gamepad is not comfortable to hold. I agree that it's very plasticky, but I like playing on it, and there are some amazing games on the Wii U.
Yes.
I mean, from Mario Kart 8 to Splatoon to Lego City Undercover
Which
to
are all coming
Pikmin
to
3. Yeah, I hope they all do.
Yeah.
Pikmin 3, Wonderful 101, Bayonetta 2, like great games.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to get that on Switch, and it's going to take a little time to ramp up. This is still year one, you know, but to get a Zelda game, and not just a Zelda game, but what looks like it could end up being one of the best Zelda games ever made,
Yes.
and a brand new, you know, Super Mario 64-esque, Super Mario Sunshine-esque Super Mario game, both in the first year of this console. I mean, come on, that lights out. That is awesome.
Now, pretty much we're at the end of the conference. We've announced all the games. We've talked about everything. But to wrap up our Switch conversation, like just on a grading system, you know, A to F, where would you guys rank this overall not the Switch itself, but the actual conference? Brant, let's start with you, man. How would you rate this? as a show?
Okay. It's really hard to judge, but I would give it a proper C plus B minus.
Okay.
The more I thought when I first watched it, I wasn't too impressed. It sort of actually took me aback. But the more I think about it, like you said, the games that they announced, it's probably the launch lineup isn't that great other than Zelda, but the games over time that they've already said, which you just stated, are all sound great. They didn't hit on enough points with the actual unit, I don't feel, and they missed on the price points a
Sure.
little bit. There's still things to worry about, but yeah, I'd put them in that middle ground. If it was enough, I guess time will tell, but
Sure.
no, there's a lot to answer to.
Right. And I was just going to piggyback off that, Brent. I agree. Like, I would probably give it a C plus as well, just for the fact that we still have a lot of questions that aren't answered. There was a lot of surprises, which is awesome, like Xenoblade and like all these great surprises. No More Heroes. Like, there's stuff that I'm
Yeah,
really
the
excited
games
for.
were great.
But there's just too many questions. And I agree. The pricing, at least for the general public, was a little on the higher side than people expected, especially the kind of funny reactions.
That was
is a little on
awesome.
the high side. But I think overall, it still has me wanting to keep my pre-order, and I think that's perfect. But Chris, real quick, what do you think?
I would probably go D, maybe D minus.
Man,
Okay.
he's harsh.
Look,
The guy who bought 5. Give it a D minus.
I have
Yeah, really.
I have utmost faith in this system. I think the system is solid. I think it's exactly what I wanted. I think that they have done a good job making a portable home console, which is literally the thing that I want. I think that the messaging was just not good.
Sure.
Price, I don't care about the price. Price was fine, but there's no pack in, right? And then I said at the top that that's fine. They don't even need a pack in because I think that the Joy-Cons offset. Like I think the Joy-Cons are worth that price, but it just didn't feel like they really proved that. I mean, they showed all the stuff that they do, but like it just didn't feel, solid. Announcing online was going to cost, and not putting anything with it was a huge mistake. Not announcing Virtual Console was a huge problem. Not having a better launch lineup, while again, I don't grade the Switch on having a good or a bad launch lineup. Zelda's going to be there, and that is probably the game I will play 95% of the time anyways, and that's what's key.
Yeah.
But like
And
not
arms.
having look for whatever you'll say about the Wii U, they at least went out and got ports for their launch, right? We got within that launch
Batman was
window,
awesome.
we got Batman, we got
Mass Effect.
we got Mass
Yep.
Effect. You had
Need for Speed. The Need for Speed that year came out.
there was I mean, so they had all this. So and again, everybody would argue, oh, well, you could already play those on the system. So what? Like the fact is, just go get them. Sure.
Right.
What were the big games? Third party game, Battlefield 1. Give me Battlefield 1 or Titanfall 2, right? That I could take on the Switch. The game's out. It'll be what, 4 months old, 5 months old when the Switch is out. Give me a version of that on the Switch that I can take portable on the go with me. Those were the things that you needed to have at launch to make it feel like they were aiming. We said
Like
this when
you wanted to pre-order.
Yeah, we said this when they did the video, right? We said there were no kids, right? Remember we talked about this. There were no kids in the video. There was Karen, and Karen was chilling out on the roof with her cool friends, right? And there were all the white guys playing basketball, which I don't know where you live, but I've never seen a basketball court with just all white kids playing basketball. But they were all playing basketball, sitting at the picnic table, playing NBA, right? They were focusing on what we felt like was more of a hardcore vision, and then they come back and they show you arms, and they show you 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2 switch, and then they show you these neon colored controllers, which I love.
Sure.
But it was like, wait, what is the message now? Where are we going? So for me, if you take Mario and Zelda out of that conference,
And
conference
Splatoon.
was and Splatoon, sure.
Yeah.
That conference was a train wreck.
Yes, it was. But I mean, it was the big reveals, because you can't take it as a whole and take out the pieces and say it was a train wreck, because it was the Mario, it was the Zelda, it was the surprises like Xenoblade that made it worth watching.
Yeah, I just felt like it was unfocused. I feel like they don't know what they're doing.
I mean, they're still learning,
which is what my fear was coming in.
Yeah,
And I'm going to piggyback off you.
Yeah, go ahead. Brent.
People are being overly negative, I feel, and that's why I wanted to raise my leather grade up. But now that, I mean, Chris, you're a good person at changing ideas, because
and making people think.
Should have been a warrior.
You should have been. Because this should have been the grand reveal to make all us casual, lapsed Nintendo fans say, "Hey, we want to go out and pre-order this thing."
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, even the hardcore Nintendo fans, some of them were like, it's just not good enough, and they didn't even do that. And for me, as casual as it goes, but I love Nintendo still, I don't feel like getting one right away, and that I think that's going to bite them.
You're the average consumer, right? You're the person who left Nintendo for PlayStation or what. I mean, you are the average consumer.
Yeah.
And you're the one we have to win over, because it's not Chris and I and Bobby and all these people who are out.
You guys are going to
regardless. It doesn't matter.
That thing could have been $600, and you guys would still buy it. Well, James, not you.
It'd take a while, but I'll get one eventually.
Sure.
Yeah,
but
right.
But right, we went in. We were joking around, but you're on the messenger. We're basically like I'm gonna strip my shirt off or whatever if they announce Dark Souls or whatever it was.
Yes.
Whatever.
Naked. Just bare all. Right in front of that
gonna
camera.
bare it all. But imagine what would have happened if they would have been like, at launch, you're going to get Titanfall 2. You're going to get GTA 5.
You're going to play it on the go.
On the go. You're going to get Dark Souls 3. You're going to get, and they just list, sure, these games are a year old or whatever they are. But just imagine what that would have done to a consumer that were like, holy cow,
that's the whole
Dark
point.
Dark Souls is my favorite series. And now I can have it with me at all times. A fully fledged,
take it
right. And it's not just a mobile version that like takes pieces out. This is the full game you play on your TV.
Sure.
You have in your hand.
Sure. And then not even you, how can you not get up and say, hey, and guess what? We're announcing today that we're launching the GameCube Virtual Console, and on March 3rd, you can also download Super Mario Sunshine. So you're going to have a Mario game at launch. That's not hard.
No,
they could do this in their sleep. The game is 10 years old.
Now,
and it's just like they just missed it.
Here's the thing. Okay, I got to stop you before you let all your steam out, because then your head will deflate. But some of the stuff, it still might happen at E3. We don't know. I mean, we're just going off what we've seen from the very. I mean, this is the first reveal, but this is like the first.
But this is launch
reveal. Right.
You gotta launch strong.
Right, but like we mentioned before, though, here's the thing with it. Nintendo knew, even if they ship more than 2 million, whatever it's going to be, they knew it was going to be the hardcore people buying that first batch of systems. They didn't need to convince us. They were just showing us, here's the window. Here's what you big, hardcore fans are going to expect in the window. Here's what you're getting. E3, they can start kind of, courting those people like Josh back at E3. Mm-hmm. That's what they're watching, because they're not a Nintendo fan.
I agree.
They may have some interest. They may watch the event. But E3 is the big show. That's when you're looking at it for Christmas. And at E3, they can say, by Christmas, we're going to have Dark Souls. By Christmas, we're going to have this.
Agree.
Because more is on the way.
Sure. And again, I went on record. I want to go on record one more time. I think, Josh said that, so maybe sometime next. Josh will be convinced by the end of the year, when Super Mario Odyssey comes out, that he will own a Switch. And that onus is on E3.
So, after maybe seeing James or going over somewhere that hasn't seen it play, maybe at a demo station, it'd be like one of those revelation things.
And then, like James says, what if they come out, at E3, they're like, hey, and now we're ready to unveil our online system. You're not going to get four virtual console games every single month, and guess what? We're not going to take them away from you. As long as you're a subscriber, you get to have access to them, right? Like they have time to put
consumer.
That. So they have time to put that together.
If Xbox can right the ship, what happened with them at their launch, Nintendo should be fine.
Sure.
But with that, guys, I mean, that's...
Yeah, I'm not preaching doom.
No,
like
right.
don't misunderstand. I pre-ordered mine. I am pumped and ready to play. I can't.
But you are the hardcore Nintendo.
Right. And we're trying to convince the Brants of the world,
sure,
to switch over. So we'll see.
Right.
But guys,
Switch.
Hopefully you've enjoyed hearing all our Nintendo rants. Hopefully you're excited for this. Nintendo Switch is on the way. If you wanted to pre-order, we hope you got one. If you liked what you heard and you want more Life of Gaming, make sure to find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and the Google Play Store. Make sure to go on there and rate us. We would greatly appreciate it. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter at Life of Gaming Pod. As for myself, you can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Wii U, future Switch owner, Xbox, Jamester0722, Brant, non-Switch owner. Where can people find you?
You can find me at _the_Brant on Twitter, MINUSTHEBRANT. That's my PSN ID, so you can look me up there and send me a message to play.
Sure.
And just another thing that I wanted to hit on, we are on WeTheNerdy.com now.
You can find us there.
Nerdy. Yes, an awesome site that covers, they have a lot of good opinion pieces, reviews, just anything in nerd culture you can think of. So we're on part of the podcast network there, which has other awesome content like Game Over Man and If We Ran Nintendo, Sean Capri, Bobby Paul. So check us out there.
So Mr. Chris White, Mr. Always Right, where can people find you, sir?
You can follow me on Twitter at NeoLego if that's what you'd like to do. You can get into anything else that I do from there. That's fine.
Awesome. Well, with that, guys, we hope you enjoyed another exciting, wonderful cruise of video game awesomeness. But until next time, we are out.
Bye.